I woke up bright and early in Taichung and headed towards Taipei, a place I once called home for around 2 years when I was younger. How does one describe a city they called home for 2 years? It's not as though I fully grew up there or spent my entire childhood in that place. So it feels somehow untrue to say that I'm revisiting my childhood home. But there's a part of me that wants to claim the place a little bit more. A little bit more than a country I once visited. Yet, as I say so, I realize that there are still so many places I've yet to see here. The postcard staples, the must-sees. The kind of places people assume you've been to if you've ever spent more than a weekend in the city. The places I somehow managed to miss even with 2 full years at my disposal. It seems absurd in retrospect, but all that matters is that I'm back. Not as a tourist exactly, but definitely not quite a local either. Just someone returning with a vague sense of nostalgia. We were back indeed, with bustling markets behind high-rises and narrow streets everywhere you looked. The convenience stores, and the dumpling chain I would often go around the city. We then headed towards the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial, where we listened to an audio tour as we walked through the exhibition and learned about Taiwan's history. We took a short walk around the pond outside. And then we walked some more, all the way to Longshan Temple, the oldest temple in Taipei. We then walked across the Keelung River towards Shilin night market. And walked through the very streets I would once desperately count the coins I had left, hoping I had just enough for one last bag of mochi balls. For our second day in Taipei, we woke up at 4:30 a.m. to catch the sunrise at Elephant Mountain. The breakfast stalls were already getting ready by this time, and we made our way through the quiet streets and up the stairs to the viewpoint, where the city stretched out beneath us and slowly shifted to a lighter shade. Had some well-deserved breakfast when we got down, and explored some bakeries in the area. And then hopped onto a tour bus for the day to explore Shifen, Jiufen, and the Yeh Liu Geo Park. The name Shifen means 10 portions, and it seems to stem from the 10 families that lived in the area before coal was discovered here. With the location being so remote and the community so small, any shipment of food or goods would apparently be divided into 10 portions, hence the name Shifen. This is also the place where people gather to write wishes on paper lanterns and release them into the sky, a tradition that originated as a way to signal to others that traveling down to the station was safe. And over time, villagers would start writing their wishes on the lanterns as well.
1, 2, 3, let go, let go. Bye bye.
Letting their hopes and lanterns fly high. Right beside it is the Shifen Waterfall, the largest and widest waterfall in Taiwan. Water poured over the edge in a steady rush, crashing into the pool below and spraying those that had made their way down to its base with cold, refreshing mist. And nestled in the mountains like an old folktale was Jiufen, 9 portions for the 9 families that resided here before it became a gold mining town. The stairs were lined with tourists as stores tried to grab their attention for the many souvenirs, tea houses, and restaurants that lined the streets. We found a table overlooking the ocean and ate our shaved ice, Raohe, and stir-fried vegetables. It was time for our last stop, the Yeh Liu Geo Park, where the famous quote-unquote Queen's Head, along with many other rocks, have been shaped by thousands of years of wind and salt water. The top layer of these rocks are harder than that of the bottom, giving them all a mushroom-like look as the bottom erodes faster. In fact, the neck of the Queen's Head is said to be eroding around 2 to 5 millimeters each year, and have been raising concerns that it may collapse anytime soon. The cute princess is said to have been voted as the future successor of the Queen's Head, if it ever does collapse. For me, it wasn't a single rock that made this place memorable, but instead, the entirety of the park. The moon-like shapes and bumps on the sand, and the layers and layers of strata you could see everywhere. Our tour bus dropped us off at the Raohe Street night market. So we got a pepper steak bun before walking all the way back to Xinyi district. Where we finished off our most touristy day with a pickled vegetable and fish hot pot at Taipei 101. And strolled around the neighborhood some more, walking into supermarkets and swaying along to the beat of street artists as we made our way back home. Our third day started off much later with breakfast at Jie, which had a modern twist to traditional breakfast chains. Then grabbed coffee from Louisa Coffee. Before heading over to Maokong Gondola to head up to Maokong Station, known for their oolong tea plantations and tea houses. There, nestled among the trees, we sat down for tea at one of the tea houses, letting the warm scent rise gently from our cups as we breathed in the leafy, fragrant air. And hiked all the way down to ground level instead of taking the gondola back down. We walked past tea farms, schools, and houses, and were even greeted by a group of elderly people playing a board game outside. And then we walked some more, all the way back to 101 for the long-awaited lunch at Tai Fung. For our last night, we wanted to take a nice walk by the Rainbow Riverside Park. So we headed over to Raohe Street Night Market again, ordered a cold drink, and sipped on it as we walked by the riverside. gazing at the tennis courts I used to practice at, admiring the many sports facilities, with 101 shining right above us. A short trip through memory lane right before our flight back to Tokyo.
So cute.
I don't think I realized how much I missed this city.